is this the greatest rivalry in Premier League history?
Uh, it can be. I don't know if I'm ready to give it that because with rivalry, Jay, what we need to factor in, I think, which is one of the biggest factors, history. How much time have these foes been at each other's necks, and how much time have they been at the top of football? And I mean, look, when it was Mancini and it was Pellegrini, Liverpool weren't rivals for Manchester City. It's only now when we've got Klopp and Pep Guardiola. So we've got a good 3-4 years when we're talking about these guys who are at the top and they are actual rivals. Is it the greatest? No, I don't. Look, they are memorable clashes in terms of the quality, the tempo, what it means for the title race. But when you look at other London derbies or United Arsenal, United Liverpool, there's so much build up in terms of the drama that could unfold, stuff happening off the pitch, Pizzagate, things like that, and you're like, okay, was bigger than what transpired in the 90 minutes. Whereas with these two sides, I think it's just football at this point in time, and I think in a footballing context, you could give it to them, but in terms of history, in terms of honors, in terms of how big the juggernauts were and for how long, I think I wouldn't give them the biggest rivalry in the Prem, not now.
You know, interestingly, when you say honors, I haven't looked this up, but I actually think put together in the period since Klopp arrived in the Klopp and Pep era, I think they may have won more trophies than even the Arsenal and United era combined. That is still to be checked out, but if not, they're very close. Especially in a situation where if you win the Champions League, you've got the Super Cup, and then you've got the Club World Cup. And there's opportunities to win the Charity Shield, so all those things they pile up, But I think like you, I'm not quite ready to crown it the greatest Premier League rivalry of all time. I don't know if that's an old timers bias because I came up on Arsenal and Manchester United. The reason was the question of why do people support Arsenal? I don't know why people support Arsenal post 2004, for example, or 2006 even.
And the tweet going around is that men pick a club when they're 11 years old and let it ruin their lives.
But if you picked up the Premier League in like late 90s, early 2000s, there were only two teams. It was Arsenal and Manchester United. And if you consider the fact Manchester United win a treble, and not too long after that, Arsenal are taking the Premier League title from them, United having won like 3 Premier League titles in a row. That's a great rivalry, but then there is the sense that United were not even slightly because at the end of the day, Wenger only ends up with 3 titles, if I'm not mistaken, and the other guy on the other side, he collects more. And at some point, Arsenal did fade, and United continued under Sir Alex. But in the period where Arsenal were great, Arsenal finished in the top 2 for 8 seasons in a row. That's absurd. Yeah. Sure, they should have won more titles, in my opinion, and maybe I say this as an Arsenal fan, but the fact that they were right there with United, and there is the added matter of the hate. Those teams honestly genuinely felt like they hated one another. When you see the clips of Roy Keane in the tunnel and he's pointing to Vieira, and then you find out that, you're not going to bully Gary Neville while I'm here. Yeah. And we know Roy Keane is the man who, after coming back from an injury that laid him out for a year, the next time he plays against the guy who injured him, he goes and he breaks his leg, So when he's gesturing in that manner to a Patrick Vieira, he's thinking some bad things. He's generally thinking some bad things. And then there's the picture of Keown and the Arsenal team and Van Nistelrooy after missing the penalty. And I recall very vividly as well when Arsenal won the Premier League title 2001-2002 at Old Trafford, and there's a celebration where Viltord is standing there, Kanu comes and he jumps over his head. That was iconic. Then there's also the matter of Arsenal going for a 50th game unbeaten. Wayne Rooney and Manchester United happened to Arsenal, So those things, I think it is more storied, and I do think the story matters. Yeah. I do think that the story matters at this point in terms of the quality of football. What we're seeing from Liverpool and Manchester City, especially if Manchester City go on to win the Champions League title, then that is something we would not have seen in the Premier League. Yes, we've seen multiple teams win the Champions League title in the Premier League. United won a Champions League title And then the next team after that in the EPL was Liverpool. But then Liverpool finished 5th that season, and they were not rivals. As well as when Chelsea finally won the Champions League title in 2012, they were not on top, you know. Whereas if City do it now, Liverpool's Champions League title was not so long ago, and their Champions League title window is still open, you know. So as I'm saying, in terms of accolades, in terms of quality of football, it has a chance, you know. But as I'm saying, and as you put it as well, like those auxiliary storylines around what is actually happening on the pitch, those have not yet been matched. Because we see at the end of this match, we see Pep and Klopp just like high-fiving one another, and it's like it's great. They respect one another. It's amazing, right? But it's very different from seeing Arsene Wenger standing in the middle of Old Trafford amongst the fans, not knowing where he needs to go.
On his hips, yeah.
And yeah, I think I'd still give it to United and Arsenal back in the day.
Those rivalries you only hear afterwards, after people have retired, that actually I respected that guy.
Yeah.
Before you wouldn't even utter it on the mic because.
And even when it happened, Chuck, I feel like Sir Alex got to a point of saying that because at that point he didn't actually view Wenger as a threat anymore. Now it was just cordial, you know. Whereas when he was really fully a threat, he had to maintain a persona that trying to kill you, not trying to have dinner and wine with you.
Look, I think in terms of City and Liverpool, they are arguably two of the best teams in Europe right now. Maybe bar Bayern Munich or maybe Real Madrid, who are hot now and top of their league as well. I think what is hard for me to accept is that whole quality thing as them being like the best teams ever in the EPL era, because it's hard to look back and then say, because obviously we are prisoners of the moment and we do have recency bias and say that this team, I mean, look, points do speak a lot, and when you look at how many points they've accumulated in each respective season, hitting the 90s and hundreds and whatnot, that says a lot. The playing styles, the number of goals scored. I mean, I'm closer to saying that City is one of the best, or this Pep Guardiola City is one of the best sides in the Prem era. Not so much giving it to Liverpool because of where they finished and what they accomplished in that time span.
They also need to win another league.
Yeah, because
they absolutely need to win another league.
Yeah, and then that at that point, I mean, it is a rivalry at the absolute top, because I mean, what you throw out there with Arsenal finishing top 2 for 8 seasons straight, that's either I'm winning it or I'm second. That there's nothing below that, and that is creme de la creme. And the football that they play and the tempo and the style suggest that they are creme de la creme. But if Mourinho can sneak in and go above Liverpool, and Ole can come in and go above Liverpool, yes, there was COVID and all those things happened. But I mean, that does say that you guys were on top. But there are times when the rivalry wasn't quite at its best because there were other factors. I mean, in the season where Mourinho or Ole finished second, then I think there was a bit more emphasis on the Manchester derby because of what could have been in terms of the title race. But it's in these particular seasons where Liverpool is chasing City that you're like, okay, let's look at this particular fixture, which hasn't happened consecutively for 5 seasons straight, because there was Tottenham who was hot as well. There was a Chelsea who was hot under Conte as well that you had to look out for. So I think I wouldn't give them as best rivalry of the Premier League era, not yet.
I think this season needs to go down to the wire, and I think it would behoove the rivalry for Liverpool to actually win it. Because then what you'd have City Liverpool, and in between, as you put it, sure, there is the 98-97 points season, which was amazing. But then after that, Liverpool get 99 and City are like 19 points off, or 18 points, whatever the case may be. Then the following season, yes, Liverpool struggled with the injuries, and they're also not there. They didn't. So there are the last 2 seasons, we've not really seen either one of these teams like chase the one down to the wire.
Yeah.
Whereas if we have this season be like that 98-97, bookend the subpar seasons in between in terms of the rivalry, then it even grows in its legend.
All right, Jay. So top 4, things have changed in a
Dramatically.
matter of weeks,
Days.